face? This towel is wet. Can I use it?
This is dirty. No.
Can I dry the hat?
No, stop dripping.
Christmas movies. You either love them or hate them. However, to the keen-eyed viewer out there, you might have noticed that in recent years, and by recent I mean like 20 years, there really hasn't been any big impact Christmas movies that have been integrated within the pop culture of the Christmas variety. For example, Home Alone, probably the quintessential Christmas movie, was released in 1990. Will Ferrell's and Jon Favreau's Elf was released in 2003. And everything else that people seem to watch on Christmas has released sometime between the 70s and early 2000s. Have there been Christmas movies released in the past 20 years? Of course, with the Hallmark movies becoming staples of cheap bottom-of-the-barrel productions for the sake of content, although since I've never seen a Hallmark movie as such, I can't confirm or deny that sentiment. But the problem is that the new productions on Christmas movies have been middling at best, feeling more like cash grabs than actually making a movie about a season or a holiday that the creators admire. What does it matter, you might be asking? So what that there hasn't been any good Christmas movies? You only really watch Christmas movies during Christmas, which can span from just under 2 weeks to 2 months. There isn't a need for Christmas movies with all the ones we already have. And to that sentiment, I agree somewhat. I can acknowledge that almost every Christmas movie is cookie cutter stuff about family and is relatively low stakes. But that is because these movies don't dare to attempt something new and exciting with this, albeit niche genre. Even the best Christmas movies fall victim to being safe and predictable. But what if I told you that this doesn't need to be the case? That Christmas movies could be more than just low-stake tale of unity, while still retaining the core values of what makes a Christmas movie a Christmas movie. As some of you can already tell where I'm going with this, let me get to the point. I'm going to be talking about 3 movies that incorporate Christmas into the narrative in order to create a compelling and entertaining film. And although some might not classify these movies as typical Christmas movies, I will still be explaining why I think that if the genre of Christmas movie is to survive deep within the future, then it needs to seek an answer to the problem it is facing, and that solution is in the past. So join me in this video to delve into the makings of 3 movies that I believe to be some of the best Christmas movies. Before I begin, let me explain something. The 3 movies I will be talking about today are not explicitly Christmas movies. Everyone has a different definition to what they classify as an explicit Christmas movie. It might be the poster has something indicating that it's a Christmas movie, but if that were the case, movies like The Polar Express would not be explicitly Christmas movies because they don't have anything on the poster to indicate that they are. Whatever the case, in this unstructured second preamble, all I'm saying is that your definition to a Christmas movie might be completely different from what I define a Christmas movie. But at the end of the day, what does it matter? It's a silly topic and we shouldn't get hung up over technicalities. Anyway, let's get started. Die Hard, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and Lethal Weapon. What do these movies have in common? Well, for starters, they are all set in LA. They are all roughly in a way about family, and most importantly, they are not explicitly Christmas movies. None of these movies are structured like a Christmas movie, nor do they have any poster to indicate that they are a Christmas movie. Also, fun fact, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and Lethal Weapon are written by the same person, Shane Black. That isn't important. What is important is that these 3 movies both use Christmas in a different but valid way that, in my book, do qualify them as Christmas movies, but on different scales. Let me explain that a bit more. If I wanted to sit down with my family and watch a Christmas movie, I would pick a strong Christmas movie like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. But if I were by myself looking for a movie that had some ties to the holiday season, I would pick Lethal Weapon or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And finally, if I were with some buddies at a Christmas party and we wanted to watch a movie, I would put on Die Hard. If that analogy didn't help, just imagine that every movie has a time and place to watch. Picture a scale in your head. Now, on this scale, you have very Christmas, somewhat Christmas, and how is this Christmas? And there you go. The three movies today, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, fall within the two categories below Very Christmas on the scale. And the only reason why Die Hard doesn't fall on Very Christmas is because it has nudity, explosions, gunfire, blood, and terrorists. All of which make a great movie, but not one that would be appropriate for a 90-year-old Hispanic grandma to see, in my opinion. However, these three movies implement Christmas into their films in two different ways. For the case of Die Hard, the movie actively implements Christmas elements into its active plot, like when John McClane uses Christmas props to send a message to Hans, or when he uses wrapping paper to tape a gun to his back towards the end of the movie. In addition, the movie also utilizes familiar Christmas songs and injects unfamiliar sounds and tones to create an uneasy feeling that rises tension and gives John's situation a more desperate and unnerving feeling. Contrast that to Lethal Weapon and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang that only really use Christmas as a backdrop to the movie and make it easier for the audience to establish when the movie is taking place. Looking into it in more detail, the setting is appropriate for the theme of Lethal Weapon and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Lethal Weapon especially because in Lethal Weapon, one of the core themes is family and found family. More for the case of Mel Gibson's character, so the setting of Christmas time does strengthen that core theme. Overall, even though these movies have a distinct approach to how they utilize Christmas in their films, they still achieve the same goal at the end of the day, which is being a Christmas movie that doesn't fall to the same tried routine of being about a family issue or any low stakes thing like that. Instead, what these movies do is create something exciting and high stakes. Die Hard is one of the best action movies I've ever seen. I don't know how, but the movie makes a 2-hour runtime feel short, and the gimmick of the main character being trapped on the top floors of a skyscraper is still novel to this day. And the movie released in '88, but I'm fully aware of how good old movies can be, but that doesn't matter. What matters is this. Die Hard is certainly a staple action movie, with the shot of John McClane crawling through the air conditioning tunnels being one of the most iconic shots in the 80s. The movie is also up there with action movie icons such as Rambo and The Terminator, all while being a Christmas movie. This Christmas movie is so good that people even watched it in July when it came out in 1988. People must have seen a trailer for Die Hard on their television one night or day and saw that it was a Christmas movie and thought, what the hell? A Christmas movie in July? And then proceeded to cream their pants when they saw some of the action featured in the movie, which there is a lot of. Surprisingly, even though it isn't constant like the recent John Wick films, the action in Die Hard is enough to keep you entertained and invested into John's predicament while rooting for him as he tries to outsmart the terrorist and survive the situation. This is what I mean when I say that Christmas movies need to be more daring and attempt new things. Even if the screenwriters of the movie were not out to write a Christmas movie, they still said it during the holidays for a reason. Either because they felt that the Christmas setting would better fit the theme of the reconciliation and unity that is seen between John and his wife, or because they thought it would be fun to incorporate some Christmas stuff into a big budget action film. Who knows? All that matters is that this Christmas movie that people see during the holiday season because of its exciting and gripping action. The next two movies are similar, not because they both, if you squint your eyes, are buddy cop movies, and because they both revolve around a larger mystery while having witty dialogue and torture scene and being set in LA, not because they're written by Shane Black, meaning that they are two flavors of the same soup or whatever. Lethal Weapon is set in LA during Christmas, just like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. But Lethal Weapon does make use of its Christmas setting by having Mel Gibson's character, Martin Riggs, finding new meaning in his life after the death of his wife in Mordhau's family. Danny Glover's character. Since Christmas is all about family, and since the holiday season is considered one of the loneliest time of the year, Riggs' character arc is about finding a family to share the holiday season with, finding a lifelong friend in Mordhau. On the flip side, in a very similar way, but just without the surrounding connection of Christmas, Harry finds new meaning in his life and a lifelong friend in Perry in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Instead of giving over-the-top action, like in Die Hard, these movies provide a sense of an intrigue and hunger to find out what the deeper mystery is. In my opinion, Lethal Weapon does stumble around a bit towards the end of the second act, but overall, both movies are very good and have something that no other Christmas movie has. No, I'm not talking about the nudity or the violence or the profanity. It's the mystery. Christmas movies don't include conspiracies about former generals using private military companies to distribute heroin across the West Coast, or plots of former actors to dispose of their estranged daughter. Both of these movies are generally good times that entertain while still being loosely relating to the holidays. To conclude, Christmas movies have been on the decline for the past 20 years, and whether that be due to the death of physical media and the mid-budget movie, or because of the established movies being so ingrained into the holiday tradition of so many people that they are simply not interested in looking for new movies to watch, which I can be at fault for. What matters is that Christmas movies can be so much more, because even if you don't incorporate apparent Christmas elements like a tree or lights, setting a movie during a specific holiday makes it much more relatable and easier to get invested because, at least for me, the period of mid-November to the beginning of the new year, or the Christmas season, has always been special for me, and I'm gonna assume to a lot of people as well. The thing is though, so many movies are set during ambiguous time frames as to make it more accessible throughout the year, so you can watch it no matter the month. But as I discussed with Die Hard, it doesn't matter if it's a Christmas movie that is released in July. If the movie is good, people will watch it. Why do you think the horror genre is so popular, even though the theoretical time period to watch a horror movie would be in October? It's all bullshit at the end of the day. All I wanted to show and tell you in this video is these 3 movies that I like to watch during the holiday season. 3 Christmas movies that you might get some enjoyment out of. Happy holidays and goodbye.